So we asked the god to show us a sign, and a sign he declared to us, and bade us cleave a path across the middle sea to Euboea, that we might flee the swiftest way from sorrow. And a shrill wind arose and blew, and the ships ran most fleetly over the teeming ways, and in the night they touched at Aegisthus. So there we sacrificed many thighs of bulls to Poseidon, for joy that we had measured out so great a stretch of sea. It was the 4th day when the company of Diomed, son of Tydeus, tamer of horses, moored their gallant ships at Argos. But I held on for Pylos, and the breeze was never quenched from the hour that the gods sent it forth to blow. Even so I came, dear child, without tidings, nor know I aught of those others, which of the Achaeans were saved and which were lost. But all that I hear tell of, as I sit in our halls, thou shalt learn as it is meet, and I will hide nothing from thee. Safely, they say, came the Myrmidons, the wild spearmen, whom the famous son of high-souled Achilles led, and safely Philoctetes, the glorious son of Poias. And Idomeneus brought all his company to Crete, all that escaped the war, and from him the sea gat none. And the son of Atreus, even yourselves have heard, far apart though ye dwell, how he came, and how Aegisthus devised his evil end. But verily he himself paid a terrible reckoning. So good a thing it is that a son of the dead should be still left, even as that son also took vengeance on the slayer of his father, guileful Aegisthus, who slew his famous sire. And thou too, my friend, for I see thee very comely and tall, be valiant, that even men unborn may praise thee. Okay, Nestor is completing his monologue, his survey of what happened to all the Greek ships heading home to their various lands. One thing that occurs to me before I break down today's passage is that at some point in the near future, because we only have a year to do this, folks, I want to put together a kind of geographical understanding of this area. A lot of copies of the Odyssey you find include maps pointing out the different cities, the different islands, the different isles, and as Nestor's monologue here demonstrates, these are of great importance because not only do they show the proximity to one another, the kind of visual of how far people would have to travel from one place to another, but also what was accepted as safe passage, what was accepted as a risk, treacherous waters, treacherous land. And I think it's important to kind of like understand when we say the journey home from Troy to Pylos, to Sparta, to Ithaca. What does that mean? What does that look like? Is there a modern day equivalent? There are, and I'm going to find those out for you, and we'll have a better understanding of the geographic area of this. Today's not that episode. Sorry, I brought it up just to earmark for the future. But here we, get mention of Crete for the first time, and we've talked about Argos, we've talked about Pylos. He also mentions Euboea and Aegisthus. So these are all important areas, and not only that, sometimes associated, like Aegisthus is associated with Poseidon. So by choosing one way over another, you could be trespassing upon or gaining favor of a particular god. Nestor says here, as we saw at the beginning of this book, that once they landed, they sacrificed the thighs of bulls to Poseidon for his swift sailing and calm seas, then decided to continue forth their journey back to Pylos, where, who was it that he mentioned? Diomed decided to stay at Aegisthus, where Nestor, as I said, decided to continue to go on to Pylos. Nestor also acknowledging the ends that people met. Agamemnon, Aegisthus, we already talked about them. That has been on the lips of everyone since book 1, Aegisthus killing King Agamemnon upon his return, but Aegisthus also getting his comeuppance. Some people, like Idomeneus, is settling on Crete. So everyone's just kind of scattering after the war, and some make it to their destinations and some don't. Some are met with the wrath of gods. Some are met by the wrath of man. crazy times to be living and trying to survive, especially after a war. The gods do seem relentless in their need for attention. Can we call them attention seekers? Anyway, let's see what more Telemachus has to say to Nestor's story here, because Nestor is saying that I'll tell you all I know. If I know it, so shall you. And he gives him a little compliment at the end there, saying, you're very comely and tall and valiant, and even people who aren't yet born are going to just love you. So let's get you some info, Telly. I'm not going to go there with it. I'm loving this. I'm not trying to be offensive or insulting to the story at all. Sometimes I just amuse myself. Sorry about that, folks. Join me here tomorrow as we find out a little bit more with this gathering before Nestor is going to teach Telemachus about Odysseus. Until then, okay, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.